Fisher again. Murphy, the kick, one-handed down low was for Vola. Getting a little annoyed, comes to Judd. Judd to Wait, can run to the open goal. 2 goals apiece in this second quarter.
Half time at the Docklands, and the Blues have fought back, but they still trail at the half by 9 points. 7 goals, 850. The Hawks, 1 super goal to the Blues, plus 4 goals, 8 behinds. All adds up to 41. But Danny, I think it was just great for the coverage and for the spectators that the Blues showed a bit in that term, because they were taken to the cleaners early.
The Hawks just come out of the blocks. They were on fire early. The first 20 minutes, they just dominated the play. They got the score on the board. But to the Blues' credit, quarter time couldn't come quick enough, and it come to their leaders. I think Gibbs was outstanding in that second quarter. And, of course, their captain, Chris Judd, set up their first goal. I'm
not sure where the numbers are going to be by mid-season, whether we're going to be able to ascertain anything, or whether we ever have been able to ascertain anything from the disposals. Clearly a quarter time, it told the story. And I guess, given that they're now fairly level, it tells us that Carlton played a hell of a lot better in that term.
Especially in the effective disposals. I think Hawthorn had something like 30 more effective disposals in the first quarter, so they've really squared the ledger there. Their tackling really improved. A lot of missed tackles in the first quarter. They started to nail those. They've started to win some hard ball. The clearances are even, and you'd suggest they would get on the scoreboard, and they're only 9 points down to their credit.
I was really impressed in the warm-up of Jared Ruffhead, also down in Tassie. He was absolutely brilliant. He just looks like a bloke who's ready to explode.
Well, he's lost
plenty of it in the first quarter. I think he had 11.
Welcome back to the Docklands Stadium, where the Hawks lead by 9 points, and I'm joined by one of the stars. In fact, he's a little bit injured at the moment, in Andrew Carrat. So, Andrew, welcome to the program.
Cheers, thanks, Rose.
Firstly, we're going to talk about your arm. You did it in a pre-season, which is a little bit unlucky, the first game back, and you broke your arm.
Yeah, first intra-club match was a little bit disappointing, but I'm trying to spin it as best I can. It's good it didn't sort of happen the first couple of weeks of the year, and I missed half the year, so I should be back the first couple of rounds, hopefully.
It's a little bit disappointing, doing all that hard work pre-season and then coming up in your first intra-club and breaking your arm.
Yeah, I was a little bit demoralised to start with, but I'm over it now. I'm back. Did my first run this morning and felt pretty good, so yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay, well, you're getting back into it now. Obviously, you just said you went for your first run today. What were you doing beforehand for your rehab?
Yeah, not a lot. Sort of bike and a little bit in the water, but yeah, not a hell of a lot. Just walking, and that's pretty much it.
It's probably a little bit frustrating too when the boys have been going so well. They had a great win against North Melbourne last week. You just started to find a little bit of a niche in the midfield as well.
Yeah, it was, especially the boys going well last week. It's going to be tough to get back in there. So, but I mean, it's good. It's competitive for the team, and yeah.
But you were going so well in the midfield. But a lot of players now in Bryce Gibbs, Mark Murphy, obviously, Chris Judd, obviously. But you will slot back in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. But I'll see what the coach has to say about that. But yeah, I mean, it's good. We're probably 8 or 10 deep in our midfield. It's good for the team.
I want to ask you about the professionalism that Chris Judd brings to the Carlton Footy Club. Just read in the paper today that you ordered some hot takeaway chips, and he walked over and said, "Andrew, you don't need that."
I'm not really sure of the sources of that story, but I can't imagine Juddy really come over and telling other blokes what to eat. But saying that, his professionalism is first class, and it probably says a bit about him, the way the club's improved, and I think he's got a fair bit to do with it.
Just the way the boys are going, I obviously just mentioned before you had a great win against North last week. Today, a little bit of a slow start, but got back into it there in the second quarter.
Yeah, Hawthorn tactically and structurally are a really good team, so it's going to take a good effort to get over the top of them, but I think we showed some signs in that second quarter there where we're coming back.
Well, Andrew, thanks very much for joining us on the boundary. Good luck with your injury, mate. Hopefully you get back in round one and go the Blues, eh?
Cheers, thanks, Nick.
And as we go to the break, the Hawks just a little bit in front here at the moment, 9 points, and all the action of the second half right after the break.
Rialto in the background of this Docklands Stadium. Reasonable crowd in here on a Sunday afternoon. We're in about 25,000 or so. Let's go down to Rowan Smith and get an injury update. Smithy, what do you got for us?
Thanks, BT. Well, we just watched Campbell Brown just come to the bench, just hobbling with that left ankle injury. So he's definitely done that left ankle injury. So he won't take any further part in the game. He's just sitting on the bench behind me now, icing that up. And also Stephen Gillam with that hyper extension that Jared had picked up there in that second quarter. He's definitely not out because Luke Bruce has taken off his substitute top, and he'll take place in this second half, boys. So there's that injury update for the Hawks.
One of the important issues, though, is that we see Campbell Brown cruising along the boundary line, and yet we don't see any sign of Stephen Gillam. So he may well still be down in the room, Spud, which is not a great sign.
Let's hope he's okay, Steve Gillen, because we alluded to the fact that Trent Crode's already out for a number of games at the start of the year, and Luke Hodge, so they can't afford to lose another defender, the Hawks, that's for sure.
Now, we're focused a little bit on Nick Stevens. He was fantastic last week. The way he got the ball, he delivered it back in through the corridor. He set them up so much across half-back. At the moment, he's had 18 possessions, but I don't think he's been anywhere near as damaging as I saw him last week, and I think they'll need to get him sort of taking the ball back through the middle of the ground and getting it into attack more so than he's been doing so far. Gibbs responded, Murphy responded, a little bit more to go for Mark Murphy, but all of those players, I think if they can do more of their hard work through the forward half of the ground rather than defensive half, will determine how quickly Carlton can get back into this game if they can.
Well, Nick Stevens, you're right, Jared. He's had the 18 disposals, 13 handball receives, but only the one inside 50. So he's getting a lot of those balls, and fair enough, he's the quarterback to set it up, but get forward a little bit more, forward of the centre. I think you picked it up beautifully with Sam Mitchell. He was playing on him early. Mitchell got a lot of quality disposals in the midfield. Nick was sort of skirting around the half-back line, so hopefully he can push forward and get some more inside 50s.
The voices of Danny Frawley and Jared Healy on Fox Sports.
There's the Carlton forward line there, BT. They set up in a formation from the goal square to the centre circle in a straight line. So the Hawthorn defenders then play outside of the Carlton forwards.
Which is direct opposite, if you like, to Hawthorn, who line up right across the centre square line with what's just one Jared Ruffhead behind.
Hawks by 9. Can the Blues surge home here? We're about to find out as the second half gets underway. Birchall had a bit of trouble picking it up, and his opposite number in Fisher got it forward for Vola. Through to Judd. Can he break the tackle? No. Here's Cloak. Ran over the top of the ball. Applies the tackle. Was it pinned to him? It was. And Stevens limping.
It was after he got rid of the ball. Ben McGlynn in the tackle there just hurt his ankle.
Free kick to Hawthorn here. Chance Bateman.
Well, Hawthorn have to reshuffle their defence, BT. They've got Robbie Campbell down there on Favola. They'll have to put Mitch Thorpe down back also.
Mitchell, fast hands.
Good running.
Nice work. Kick wide. And I think this is McGlynn. Near the boundary line. Can he keep it alive? He does. Stevens still struggling with that leg as Bateman sends it rough head bound. Got under the ball, works his man in nicely. Thornton to the rescue, did well. Ball knocked away. Moss, shot on goal, is missed. And a minor score in the end.
Young Jamison from Carlton needs to learn from that. When the ball went over Jared Ruffhead's head, he had to keep Ruffhead up the ground.
Nick Stevens still not looking comfortable in that last shot we just saw there. Slightly off the ball.
It's his left knee, BT, so I'll just keep an eye on him.
28 is Cameron Cloak. The former Pie. Here's Garlett. Nice to Fisher. Not quite within range, I wouldn't have thought, for Fisher. To the pocket. Thought about Favola. Was able to get a bit of a wind-up on the ball. Long ball forward. Will it clear the pack? No. Campbell did really well in defence.
Not a lot of connection with the forward line at the moment, Jared. I saw Cade Simpson pushing forward. That was the space Favola had to lead into, and then Fisher had to blaze away. So the Carlton forwards need to work hard for each other to create space.
They'll get better, Carlton, no doubt. I mean, Fisher bombed away, and there was only Eddie Betts in the goal line. That's, I guess he was never going to beat Robbie Campbell.
The pressure skills, and that's 50 metres. Didn't hand the ball back on the full.
9 points, is it?
Yes, it will be a 9-pointer. And all of a sudden, the pressure skills of Carlton, I think, have come to the fore, and they're looking a little energised here.
Well, the first quarter, they had a number of missed tackles, and their intent since that first quarter has been outstanding.
I think Sam Mitchell will like that one back.
So Murphy will line up for a super goal. From about 5 metres out, comes in, and there it is. So the Blues get their second super goal of the game, and all of a sudden, they are within a point.
Well, I reckon the riot act would have been read at quarter time, and Brett Ratton would have brought out the same act, Danny, and repeated it at half time, that if they went in, continued what they produced in that first quarter, they were going to get embarrassingly slaughtered. Now, that is one that Sam Mitchell will regret, I think, as captain, just throwing that one away ever so casually, and it's cost them 9 points. He'll have to work pretty hard to win the brownie points back for his teammates for that one.
Well, it's pointless. You see the Hawthorn coaching box, and it's pointless sending the runner out to Sam. I think he'd be the first to know as captain he's let himself and his team down.
Back within a point, the Blues. They can certainly sense it, and we can feel it here in the stadium, that they're just ready to go. Simpson did really well. Stevens is no longer injured and ready to go. Here is an opportunity, because I tell you why, Bryce Gibbs has found some space. Shuffles the handball to the left-footed Simpson on his favoured side. He lines him up and rams it home, and the Blues have hit the front.
Well, that's just all about work rate again. Cade Simpson got the ball in the middle of the ground, Jared, and like all good midfielders, and you would know you need to work hard. He started that initial handball there to Nick Stevens, and then he had the hard running forward to get on the end of the goal. So that is classic midfield play. Great play from Gibbs. But there's Simpson, who started the passage of play, and he finished with a goal. Great play, Cade Simpson.
Yeah, it's good work all round. I think that Fisher did well, I think, through the middle of the ground. Sam Mitchell went for a bump rather than a tackle, and the bump has been under a fair bit of focus. Let's have a look here. In fact, it was Simpson. That's why the bump's under pressure, because it's ineffective most of the time. That should have been a tackle. Simpson rode it and pushed hard forward and ended up on the end of it. That's a great piece of play.
That is a great example, to get on the end of it after having the ball in the middle of the ground with just a couple of seconds expiring. Now in defence, Jamison for the Blues.
Well, the Steve Gillum injury has allowed Carlton to focus on Jared Ruffhead, because now there's no Mitch Thorpe, there's no Robert Campbell down there. There's only one tall forward in Jared Ruffhead. Hawthorn need other options now.
Waite goes wide, and the defensive punch from the Hawks. Taylor.
It's pretty difficult to do it from the coach's box. He's got two of your better players off the ground, so the midfielders need to lower their eyes and just try and hit up a Bo Dowler or a McGlynn.
What's been the attitude of Alistair Clarkson at Hawthorn, Danny, in relation to these NAB Cup games?
I think he wants to experiment, BT. We see that with a number of rookies playing, and just give everyone an opportunity. As I said, they've still got the youngest list in the competition. They won the premiership last year, which is unheard of.
Taylor to Mitchell on his right side.
No, it's a push out.
Thornton,
a legal one, evidently.
the man that Jared speaks of. Here's Gibbs. Thought about the handball back to Thornton, and then just nursed the kick around the corner ever so delicately. Jamison starts to pick up a bit of ground. Fisher got a bad bounce, but there's plenty of time to recover, although Waite couldn't stop the ball finding the boundary line. Young man in the front row having a nice chocolate ice cream there.
Watch the ball, Simon.
There's the stoppage set up. Opportunity overrunning the ball was Garlett. I get the feeling that real intensity is lifted from the Blues, and they've come to play in this second half. Here's Gibbs, been instrumental, as Jared has mentioned a couple of times. Stevens went without it. Desperate play. It was. Out wide to McGlynn. He's got some speed. He was within super goal range. I thought he probably could have gone for home. He went the short, and Ruffhead told him so.
He's really been important in their comeback, Brett Thornton. He has had a big second quarter, and already this quarter he's turned them around a couple of times.
But you're right, BT. Young McGlynn was too unselfish then for his own good. Could have ran another 5 metres and nailed it.
And even Ruffhead indicated by pointing to go for home next time. Kick wide in the cloak direction. Flying high was Fisher, who has telescopic arms. Betts slung, but got the important kick forward. And Carlton have another opportunity to reload in their forward 50.
Just showing how versatile he is, and that is a great slam tackle.
Is that allowed?
Well, it is under question, I suppose, but looks like he had the football to me, and he's done an AC joint.
He has. Murphy, high ball. Campbell knocked it down. Favola was waiting for the crumb. Now the Hawks arrive. Good chase down tackle there on that occasion by Garlett, and he'll be given the free, I think, as a direct result. He will.
He's very quick, Jeff Garlett. That is fantastic play. Put forward, pressure on. Hawthorn were away. Now they're inside 50.
First cousin of Buddy Franklin is Garlett. Sends the ball to the top of the square. Big pack forms for Favola. Tried to come from about 4 deep.
That's a good second effort.
And he's got himself a free. Now, I reckon he faked that, and the umpire was caught behind. And I reckon he's got away with that one, Brendan.
Well, the second effort was there. We see him fly from behind, but at least he got intent here, BT. We see it. Yeah, not a lot. He did fade. Not a lot in that.
Went forward a bit, and the umpire, I thought, that made that decision was perhaps not getting the best view of it. So not necessarily his fault.
You put him down from here.
He would. He's a good converter. He has the one goal today. That was a super goal, controversial. As Favola comes in and gets it, so all of a sudden the Blues, can you believe it? They lead it by 11 points.
And they look comfortable. They look as if they're in control of this footy match right now. And they came here perhaps with their heads not screwed on properly. And with the, I guess, the added bonus of losing a couple of players. We get a better view here. Yeah, no, he's thrown himself forward there, has Fev, and that's good work. Blokes have been acting for free kicks in the forward line for a long time, BT, and there's no doubt that Fev's getting used to it as well. But 2 injuries really helps.
And the smile, I think, gives it away from Brendan there.
The start of the game was all Hawthorn. The start of this third quarter is unbelievable. Carlton have had 31 disposals to Hawthorn's 13, so they're winning plenty of the ball, the Blues.
They are dominating in this third quarter, as Danny Frawley alluded to. The Hawks need to find something forward, and Thornton getting back here in the race for the ball was unable to get hold of it, but a good tackle in the end on Dowler.
Well, you've got to try a little bit more than that, Mitch Thorpe, to get rid of the footy. He just conceded and thought that the umpire would say no opportunity. You know, he didn't have prior opportunity, and I know he had his arm taken. It was Bo Dowler, thanks, Spud, instead of Thorpe. But he still should have just flicked the ball out, do something.
Thornton. It's a high ball. Mitch Robinson there and unable to stop it going over the line.
The other thing about Bo Dowler there too, Jared, he allowed Thornton to float back and double team Roughhead too easy. He has to get dangerous, be a usable option.
Several PBs at training this year, I believe, from Bo Dowler. Been very impressive on the track, the young man. Arm around the back, and a free kick will go Carlton's way. Player Hampson didn't even know he had the free then. Mitch Robinson has snuck down and intelligently got hold of the ball in the wing, draws the player before he disposes of the ball, absorbs the knock. Handball wasn't great. Bentley's now got it all to do, couldn't get it done. Taylor drifts it off. Kennedy through the middle. Mitchell, a handball even further wide. It's a nice looking ball, an opportunity here for the Hawks to go forward. And I think it may have been Dowler that got the kick to Roughhead, takes the mark, turns around, runs to the open goal.
It was a good grab. He's got a great vertical leap, Jared Roughhead. We saw him kick a beautiful goal in the second quarter from ground level, but here's the exponent of the high ball. You see Mitchell running through the middle of the ground. Another handball out to Bo Dowler, who we just talked about. Probably a lucky kick in the end, but there's just that long reach of Jared Roughhead. Not a lot Jamison could do there.
Down on the boundary line, Smithy, can we get Cyril Rioli into this game a little bit? Can't see him out on the ground at the present time. He's probably on the bench, but he's one bloke who's had not a lot of influence on this game that could turn it on for the Hawks.
Yeah, Jared, he is sitting on the bench, and I just think that maybe they should just throw him into the midfield just for a little bit of a spark. Also, Eddie Betts, you spoke about him in the first quarter, or the second quarter, hasn't had a big impact. Look to him maybe to go into the forward, into the midfield as well, to get that little bit more of an impact.
The 300 gamer there, Rowan Smith with the Dogs.
Well, I reckon he's entitled to be a bit frustrated there, Sam Mitchell. He worked really hard. He got buried and he got pinged.
Grigg is the man that got it in there, though I reckon it was Waite's tackle.
Did he have prior opportunity, Jared? Sam Mitchell there?
I don't think he did, but prior opportunity seems to diminish by the week in AFL footy.
Here's Keel. Goes wide looking for Young. Out there also is Morton of Hawthorn. The kick back into the middle. Sneaky good. Keel's got it. That's 50. Infringed did Mitch Robinson.
Puts him in 9-point range.
It does. And I think it's Keel, the man that will be kicking for goal.
Yeah, the umpire hadn't called play on. Mitch Robinson encroached on Keel. It was always going to be 50 metres.
Keel will line up for super goal, as Jared mentioned. Free kick on the 50. The resultant 50-metre penalty sees him in super goal range. The Hawks will hit the front with this kick as Keel comes in. And he doesn't let them down. Got it. Hawks back in front by a point. Super goal.
All the Hawthorn players, and rightly so, get over to Hayden Keel on the rookie list. Great moment for the young man.
Well, he was off. I'm not sure what the player's supposed to do there, because he was off. Now, do you just stand back and let him go because the umpire wasn't quick enough with the call?
And that, your point is correct, Jared, because I think, unfortunately, the letter of the law, the umpire has to call play on, but he did run off the mark.
Yeah.
So where is the line? Where's the grey area there? It's a tough one, because your natural instinct when you see him come off the line is to tackle him, and the coach be saying you've allowed him to run round.
Maybe the umpires need to have a look at whether or not they have to call play on. If a bloke's off his line, he's off his line.
Or pull the trigger quicker with the voice.
Hawks without some of their well-known players, and Lewis and Ladson and Ellis and Hodge and Franklin and Crode just staying in touch here, and they lead it by 4 points.
And with Gillum and Brown off the ground already
as well. They are missing a very good portion of their best side.
Good play in front.
It is, and it lands with this man here. Kick forward to Favola on the lead is very, very good. And Favola has taken the mark, and it may have been Garlett, I think, that got it to him. And it was.
Well, it was a good play from Garlett, but I was just watching Brendan Whitecross there. He was caught flat-footed. You see Whitecross 37? You must play in front, or at least on his hip or on his shoulder, and be on your toes. He was standing on his heels and just allowed Garlett to run in to take an easy chest mark.
Favola for his third goal from about 35 out. Crowd like it behind the goal. The goal umpire's just got to agree, and he does. Favola's got 3, and Carlton led by 2.
Well, Garlett is a find. He looks as if he is really switched on, Spud. He makes good decisions. He was well and truly in front. Just have a look now. He's metres in front. He can see Murphy's going to be under pressure. There he is in front of his opponent. He doesn't go back and he's going to be a hero and kick a goal. He goes back, quickly looks to see if the full forward's there, and he delivers on the chest of Brendan Favola.
And not only that, Jerry, he's had the 3 tackles, so he's really put some pressure on the Hawthorn back half, who are beautiful kicks. And we just put them under pressure a little bit and force them to kick the ball high. It's all the coach would ask.
4 lead changes in this third quarter. And the Blues by 2 points, with just under 9 minutes in the third quarter remaining. The winner will play Geelong and is also guaranteed $80,000 as part of the prize money. Here's Armfield. Ran the full journey, gave it to Stevens. Now an opportunity for this man here in Johnson to get it off. McLean steps in the way. Tuck was good.
Great hands.
Hawks reload. Here's Moss from the middle of the ground. Rough head in front. Got one claw in it. Couldn't dig it in. Thornton. Tidy. Cleans up. A fumble by Bauer. The rating of this game has lifted somewhat in this third quarter. And the tackle was good. And a ball up. Some numbers here for the Hawks. Another opportunity for Roughhead. Got nudged under the ball again then.
Did well, Jamison. Did really well.
Well, Jamison did well as Thornton again, Jared. Bo Dowler has to take Thornton out of the play. Yep. Too many times Jared Roughhead is competing with Jamison, his direct opponent, and Brett Thornton. So Bo Dowler either walking back to the goal square or come up the ground and get dangerous.
Yep. Mitch Robertson's got the down the field free kick.
Maybe you should start leading to the goal square instead of away from the goals.
To half forward. No winner in the air. Wait. With a nicely weighted handball for Simpson to run onto. Took a bounce. Runs it inside 50. He's increasing the angle in doing so. And just the minor score.
I reckon that's fair enough for him to have a crack at the goals, even though he did close the goal face, as you said, BT, because he looked up and there was 3 Hawthorn players all floating around. No forward came leading at him, so it was a fair option.
Here's Bateman with the dash.
Gary Moss is getting into the game a little bit, BT. He's had 5 disposals this quarter.
To centre half forward. Great grab.
I need to do that, lower their eyes around this half forward region, Hawthorn.
McGlynn. From centre half forward over the top. Bateman's run on. Remember, he's the man that gave it from half back. Got himself a free kick it in the forward pocket. has Bateman.
Jared, you called it. Bo Dowler running hard towards goal, and it wasn't Bo Dowler. This time it was Chance Bateman, and that's smart play because Jared Roughhead leads up the ground. The most dangerous area in the forward line is the vacuum.
He plays on, kicks it around the body, but he'd be made to kick it again. It'll be no score. Umpire wasn't ready, but time off had been blown. And great example of modern football is how they work, isn't it?
Oh, it is, but the vacuum that Roughhead leads up the ground, Bo Dowler has to switch onto that. He's 6'5", and it took Bateman, the half-forward winger, to run into that space.
He plays on again, kicks it around the body, Bateman this time, and hasn't quite got the curl.
I know both sides aren't particularly playing zone defences or cluster defences today as much as we've seen over this weekend, but the more I see of the zone defence, but the more I reckon that players leading away from the goals become ineffective, and somebody's going to come up with a smart idea about forwards leading at the goals to, I reckon, break down zones.
You're right. If you can maintain some sort of structure as well as having a zone, you're going to be in the game because your midfielders are going to have targets to kick to.
Simpson found Hadley on his non-preferred. It was in the air for a while. Gave the Hawks a chance, but they couldn't capitalise. Here's Russell. It was always backwards. I heard the umpire. If it had been marked, it was play on. Gibbs was great, precise. Handball to Armfield. Left foot. Long ball. Over the head of Favola. Probably could have shepherded it through. Did he know where it was, though?
Should have shepherded it, BT.
May have thought, been indecisive about whether he was in the behind area or the goal area. Is his only excuse, I reckon.
Fair enough.
But I agree, if he knew he was in the goal area, let it go. But as a full forward, perhaps you're never quite sure where you are. There's a 50-metre penalty too.
As a full forward,
and
you
9
know.
points coming up.
99 times out of 100, you know where you are.
It's a big turnaround. 6 points at the other end. 9 points coming.
Went over the mark, didn't immediately come back.
Massive turnaround.
And a free kick to Bateman.
You saw Favola in the middle of the goal square there, Brian.
35 metres out for a super goal. Hawthorn back in front by 6 points, I think it is. 7 points, in fact. And Brennan Favola a little disappointed.
Big price to pay, isn't it? Approach the mark by a metre in the centre of the ground, and then it's a 9 points. We see Jared Waite there. Does the penalty fit the crime? Well, they're the rules. So it's a tough one. Jared Waite, again, would love to have his time again on that one.
Well, we've seen some interesting footy over the weekend. You can interpret interesting whichever way you like, but this, I think, will restore the faith in a lot of people who have been a little bit disappointed with seeing some negative stuff over the weekend. This has turned into a cracking match.
It has. 5 lead changes in this quarter alone. Both sides playing real attacking football.
Have the ball, Hawthorn. Chance Bateman's kick.
Bateman hasn't he come into it?
Hawks got to find a way to get Cyril involved. He's a match winner and he's just not getting the footy.
McGlynn over the top. Couldn't win it here. Simpson to tidy up for the Blues. The kick down the line. Looks for Garlett. Couldn't keep it alive.
Pretty hard for him at the moment. He's on his stomach getting a rub down, Smithy, but right now his stats don't read as if he's had much influence.
Yeah, Jared, look, he just come off for the second time this quarter just then. As you mentioned, he's getting worked on his hamstrings, but he's just got to have a little bit of impact. I mentioned it before, getting him in the midfield, maybe just for that speed and spark, and he might be able to lay a tackle and just get into the game.
Favola turns around from the boundary and kicks the goal. Carlton are back in front.
Bit of magic.
In fact, they trail by a point.
Well, that was fantastic play. Brendan Favola showed all the tricks here. And again, one-handed mark. And then just Robbie Campbell just assumed he's going to go back and kick a straight shot. Half asleep, Favola was all over it. Robbie Campbell too late in the scene. He's still in the game even though the players marked the ball. And he just lost concentration for half a second to allow Favola to play on and open up the angle for goal.
Understandable, BT. It was worth 9 points.
Probably was in the end, Jared.
Magnificent mark.
Yep.
And cracking goal. But, gee, I thought Robbie Taylor, he's done a pretty good job. But the brilliance of Favola, it was unstoppable.
4 goals for Favola.
Oh, the Bradshaws are. Free kick.
Sewell in the middle. Has an opportunity here to go wide. Mitchell the target. Houlihan got there with the thump away. He needs some help at ground level. Not much there. Mitchell smacks in really hard. Did well. Look at this young man in Bentley come away with the ball. The kick down in the Favola direction again.
No free.
Got two dukes on it, recovers well.
Well, one umpire called play on and one umpire called pushing the back.
Campbell's down for Hawthorn. Robbie Campbell, another defender. For
Free
the
kicks for Favola.
Yeah.
So Brendan Favola will get a chance to convert his fifth. It favours his left to right kicking style, and Campbell in trouble.
His direct opponent. Look, you just see the replay here from friendly fire from Grant Birchall. I think Birchall's left knee goes in. Oh yeah, no, hip on hip. He hurt his hip there, Robbie Campbell.
And just a palm in the back of Favola. Didn't really affect the contest, but it's illegal.
Great courage from Grant Birchall, but just had no awareness. He went back with the flight of the ball. You couldn't ask him to do much more, but Robbie Campbell, you can see just holding around the hip or the rib region there.
Good work by the umpires there too. The experienced umpire came over the top. He had a slightly more side-on view of it. The younger umpire was right behind the two Hawthorn players, and he obviously didn't see the push.
Favola needs the left to right drift in the air. His eyes wandered for a moment, looking to give it off. A little bit of left to right there, not quite enough, and in the end a minor score. So scores are level here, 76 points apiece with under 4 remaining in the third.
Let's hope Robbie Campbell stays on the ground, Jared, because they've lost Gillum, Campbell Brown, and their third cab off the rank is Robbie Campbell. So if he goes off, they're going to have to use Bo Dowler or Mitch Thorpe on Favola.
Not 20 from the kick out for Guerra, which I thought was harshly marked. Here's the young fella in Garlett. Guerra through traffic. Favola ended up with it. He'll go to the right foot banana from the boundary. Across the face, Betts.
Well, tick there for Garlett. Magnificent performance. Didn't get, I don't even think he got his hands on the ball, but he created that possession for Brendan Favola.
Now, Betts wouldn't want to step off the line here or be immediately called to play on. I saw that happen the other day. He goes back. Now he runs around on the right. The kick is great. Betts has got it. Well thought out in a pressure situation. Carlton lead by 6 points.
It was a great decision just to turn around the last couple of minutes there. Great play here.
Garlett.
From Garlett, Jeff Garlett. He's forward pressure. We talked about his ball skills. They've got his second and third efforts here, Jared.
Yep.
It was beautifully called. Favola did the same thing, tried to get the ball to the top of the square. Eddie Betts has been quiet, but has nailed the goal to put Carlton in front.
So the Blues through that man there, Eddie Betts. A goal in front with 3 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
It's that sort of position, isn't it? You can be out there all day in the forward pocket, and if they drag you, it's pretty hard to have an impact, but you can get 2 or 3 goals in the space of a few minutes.
6 goal to 3/4 in favour of the Blues. They've kicked 3 out of the last 4, Carlton. Taylor with the free. Guerra. The run and deliver.
At the back.
Roughhead got dealt.
Good
hands
mark.
in the back and unlucky not to get a free. And in the end, Thornton.
Well, he's the thorn in Hawthorn's forward line at the moment, Brett Thornton, because continually he is double teaming Roughhead now. Bo Dowler's off the ground. They desperately need to try and get Brett Thornton to play accountable football to get him away from Roughhead so he can attack one-on-one.
Armfield able to go wide with the ball, and Carlton have got it to the wing without too much trouble. Handball over the top to Murphy. The give to Judd. Judd to Favola, appealing for the 3 amongst 3 Hawthorn defenders. Umpire almost
Gone off here.
Favola's
blew the whistle.
And I think rightly so. He was shepherded from the front on position.
Well, the umpire, I saw him put the whistle to the mouth and then withdrew it.
I mean, that is a shepherd.
Yeah, that's a free kick.
Oh, he's restricted from running to the ball on his own merits, isn't he? Here's Judd.
Oh, look at
shot
this.
at goal. Absolutely fantastic to conjure that up out of nothing, really. What a superstar.
Well, the Stars are playing some good football, Jared, in this third quarter. Favola's kicked 3. Judd's been served. We just see the stoppage here again. And he's on the move. The Hawthorn midfielder didn't get goal side. If you're going to allow Chris Judd to run into a goal like that, it means you're spectating the ball. Sammy Mitchell, his positioning there was all at sea. Had to stand between Judd and the goals to allow an open passage for this guy with the speed that he's got. Suggests you just weren't thinking team there.
Brilliant in the confined space that he had to work with there, Chris Judd. Puts Carlton 12 points up. They've kicked the last 3. And it's been their best quarter of football in this game to date, the Blues. In the middle, Jacobs trying to work his way around the ball. Kennedy got dealt one high, umpire let it go. Very scrappy in the middle. There's Houlihan's. Lovely hands to Armfield, who's come to life as well. Gibbs. Waite to Greg. Nice use of the body against Sewell. The Hawks through Johnson. Betts caught behind. Did well, Birchall. So a really good contest we've got going here at the moment. A wonderful third quarter from both sides. Carlton have been the better team in this quarter. Thus their 12-point lead after trailing by 9 points at half-time.
Probably been the better team since quarter time, BT, the Blues.
Well, yeah, they outscored them 3-2 in the second quarter as well, the Blues. Here is an opportunity for the Blues. Houlihan just straightened and waited a little, was hesitant, and cost him a clear shot at goal.
Well, that's inexcusable. And I think it's led by the skipper again, Sam Mitchell, BT. We get to have a look at that stoppage again. I'm not sure whether we will, but to allow Carlton to have an easy passage towards goal from that stoppage, they need to get either hip on hip or stand 5 metres off goal side.
So the player should have been standing on goal side of him.
Yep.
His opponent. Carlton keep it alive. It's on the head of Favola, in fact, over. And no score in the end.
And Spud, just quickly, Sam Mitchell is actually playing on a half-back flank at the moment, so he is a backline player at the moment.
We just saw that stoppage there. 2 Hawthorn players, not goal side. It was Sammy.
Taylor competing here for the Hawks. All of the Hawthorn players close to the contest ran past it, but luck is with them. McGlynn goes out wide to Sewell. The Hawks in heavy traffic, under enormous pressure here at the moment.
Hard running here from Birchall.
Out wide, finds the intended target. So the Hawks trying to mount something here through Morton, and now Birchall back to Morton. Super goal range, the ball's high.
Got him.
Roughhead's got a good body position and marks.
Just had him cold there, Thornton. The only chance he had there was for Roughhead to make the blue and put the hands in the back, but the cut across through the middle of the ground was a smart move.
Well, the blue was made from the Carlton midfielders. The two players attracted the Hawthorn ball carrier, and it was Eddie Betts and Cade Simpson. Both didn't organise their defence well enough.
Roughhead for his 4th goal. Comes in, kick on the way, it's good. Did really well. Carlton by 7 points. Roughhead's got 4.
Well, both forwards have been very good, but it was the Carlton midfielders that allowed Jared Roughhead to get the easy passage of play. If you've got 2, here it is here. Morton kicking the ball down long there to Roughhead. We see Thornton just in front. Young Jamison's off the ground at the moment, so it forces Brett Thornton to play one-on-one in Roughhead, and Hawthorn would like this. Was that hands in the back, Jared?
Not sure whether it was 1 or 2, but there was certainly a push.
They seem to have softened that somewhat from 2 years ago.
Well, Favola got one at the other end only moments ago, where there was just the bare left hand in the back, had no effect on the contest.
But you can't pay those some of the times. I mean, it's either every time or you give the rule away. It's a bit like the Nick Stevens one, which I'm sure is going to be talked about a lot, the deliberate handball over the line.
Oh, great courage from Williams there.
It was. Ran through
and young Mitch
Stevens. So just a couple of seconds remaining here. Don't think we'll have any further score.
Young Mitch Robertson let him know too. He was hard at it as well, young Mitch Robertson.
He was. Shakes the head. There's a bit of a knock there. Mozzie hit me or something. But, well, what a great quarter of football we have just witnessed. Carlton have come from 9 points down at half-time to lead it by 7 points.
Here's Williams and Robertson.
Here in the third quarter. And Mitch Robinson having a good look at Williams. We're in for a beauty in the last quarter. Stay with us. It's a 7-point lead to the Blues.